I think I'm going through a midlife crisis. Can we please talk about it? So I am 41.
Craziest things that's happened to my life is I hit 41, now 42. I just turned 42 last week. And I decided to throw my whole life up in the air and see where the chips fall.
You know, the reason why I wanted to make this video is because I myself feel like I'm going through a bit of a midlife crisis. Now, I had a discussion with a friend, and that discussion led me to believe that that actually might be the case. Now, one of the reasons why a lot of people get midlife crises is because they get to a point in their life where they kind of feel trapped to a certain extent. Now, I love my life, I love my wife, I love my child, I love the place that we live in, but when you get to a certain stage, you realize things are kind of locked in, and sometimes life is about taking risks, and unfortunately, sometimes people take these risks in ways that can be damaging, and that's what a midlife crisis is. Now, men and women might do it differently, and we're going to discuss that in today's video and also react to a bunch of clips as well. Also, I noticed that the channel has been kind of in a downward spiral right now, so if you guys could help me out, hit the like button, hit the hype button if you're watching this on a phone, and of course subscribe if you do find yourself coming back and watching more content. With that being said, let's dive into it today.
Craziest things that's happened to my life is I hit 41, now 42. I just turned 42 last week. And I decided to throw my whole life up in the air and see where the chips fall by asking for a separation. Yeah, I'm literally shocked with myself, but I really thought about it and I realized like my marriage has been pretty dead for a very long time. There's obviously a lot to it, but I realized I just can't continue despite having kids, despite having like a beautiful home, a life. I was living a lie. I was not myself. I had dimmed my light to be what someone else needed. And at this midlife point, maybe it's a midlife crisis, I said no more. I can't keep doing this. And I didn't even hear the words coming out of my mouth really when I told my husband I wanted a separation. That's my cat. And I will say that I spoke to counselors, we did couples therapy. It wasn't just the like flight of fancy or whatever. It was like not just something I did in the last second. I knew I had to do it. My counselor told me I had to do it because I told her how unhappy I had been despite all the trying. And then I did it. And the moment I did, the weight lifted off my shoulders. And I'm not saying it's been easy. It's been very, very, very hard. But I am saying I couldn't live another 41 years of my life not being true to myself. So I know it's going to be hard for the next little bit for my kids, but when we get through this storm, I'm really hoping that there's some sun. And I'm also really hoping I get to rediscover myself again and what I was like 15 years ago. Happy, optimistic, full of like joy. Really looking forward to it.
Now, sadly, a lot of midlife crises could lead in divorce or separation, and that is one of the dark sides of it, and we do see a lot of this on social media. And I will say that side, I feel like, happens more to women when they go through midlife crisis. Men, usually it's like they buy something stupid. Like they have a midlife crisis and they buy a motorbike or something like that. But when it comes to women, more often than not, I do see it where it leads to separation or divorce, but not all the time, but a lot of the time, which is sad.
There's a joke on the internet about millennials having a midlife crisis, and let me explain something to you. As a millennial, I'm 37 years old with 4 kids, all 7 and under, and for years my hobbies have been cutting grapes, wiping butts, keeping humans alive. Meanwhile, juggling running a business. So if I suddenly get overly excited about mahjong, pickleball, golf, book club, gardening, bird watching, just let me have it. Do you know how good it feels to have hobbies again? To feel like life isn't so heavy and you're needed everywhere? Do you know how good it feels to use your brain for fun? Sometimes I feel like I haven't done that in a while. Until I got 2 uninterrupted hours with my friends to play mahjong and drink Spindrift and just fall entirely into a hobby, I didn't realize how much I needed that. This isn't a midlife crisis. This is me coming alive again.
And I feel like that's a healthier way of dealing with your midlife crisis, is to find hobbies and learn to have fun again, because that is ultimately really important and it might keep you more grounded in the future.
I think I'm going through a midlife crisis. Can we please talk about it? So I am 41. and I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm a speech therapist by trade. I was in acute care, and I left the hospital setting about 3 years ago, just because I was working PRN and it required a lot of weekends, and our weekends are just really, really busy. My husband works weekends, so it was just really hard for us to manage both of us being gone on the weekends. Anyway, I would love to use my degree again, but honestly, like, I just think it's a little bit unrealistic for me to use my degree because my husband's job's not super flexible. If I went back to the hospital, it's not flexible at all. Like, it's a great job, but I would have to be there 7:30 to 4, Monday through Friday, and then take my weekends, my turn as weekends and holidays and stuff. And that just, like, would be so challenging for our life. But I feel like I want something of my own. I've been an influencer for the past 3 years, and that's been great, but I think I want something more. I think I do. Like, I just don't know that it's super, like, life fulfilling for me to, like, talk about Amazon clothes all the time. Plus, with all the changes with the Amazon program, I just have not been bringing in as much money as I was, and it just feels like a little bit less worth it than it was for me, like, last year, 18 months ago. So anyway, I'm just feeling really overwhelmed and just feeling like I'm going through a midlife crisis. So tell me what I should do with my life, would you please?
And someone who is a content creator as well, I can completely understand what she's saying. That is one of the reasons why I feel like I'm going through the midlife crisis. It's not necessarily that I'm just feeling a little bit stuck in where I am right now in my life. It's the fact that I'm stuck doing what I'm doing because I can't really change careers or anything like that. Let's say if all my channels go to crap, right, and I'm barely making any revenue, enough to make ends meet, anything like that, I'm kind of stuck until Logan's actually in school because I can't really change careers. I can't go back to college for 3 or 4 years and completely change my life around. I'm pretty much stuck the way it is right now for at least the next 4 or 5 years. So if you guys have it in you, you want to become a channel member, help out the channel, I really would appreciate it. Honestly, it would probably quell my midlife crisis a little bit if the channel started to do a little bit better. So please hit that like button at the very least. Really would help me out.
About a midlife crisis? That's cool. I'm a millennial. I didn't get one of those. I have never once experienced a period of stability long enough to interrupt. I watched the Twin Towers fall on a TV that my elementary school teacher wheeled into our classroom. And then that kicked off a 20-year war with the Middle East. And I graduated into the worst economic recession since the Great Depression, the 2008 financial crisis, caused by boomers that spent the 80s and 90s deregulating the banking industry, then veered directly into the wreckage with a degree that we were told we had to get, and student loan debt into a job market that actively was not hiring. And then when the economy did finally start to stabilize, we got hit with a global pandemic, which exposed every crack in the system, from healthcare and housing to employment and mental health. All of it broke at once. And on the other side of that, the housing market became completely unaffordable. And it's not because we were buying avocado toast or iced coffee. It's because the average home price has outpaced wage growth by 300% since the boomers were buying. So they bought homes for like 60 grand and then watched them appreciate to over $500,000. Now they're sitting on half the country's wealth while telling us we just need to work harder. And now, war with Iran and $5 gas. Social Security projected to run out before most of us retire. A system, by the way, that boomers have been drawing from for years and that we've been paying into our whole careers, but will likely never see a dime of. The audacity to look at us and say, your generation just doesn't want to work. We have been working our whole lives. We've been working hard to survive in the economy you built. We've been in crisis the whole time.
Yeah, maybe millennials have been in crisis the whole time, and maybe it's not a midlife crisis. Maybe it's just being a millennial in general, which is a sad realization. And everything she said there was very true. Leave your thoughts about this video down below in the comment section, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.